briefly, we have, first of all, the voting tool questions, which I explained to you before. So please take your remote controls. They are underneath your seats. We need your action now, and we need some activity so you're not falling asleep. You're waking up from yesterday's parties. And here comes the voting tool questions. Please, you can see them here and here on the screens. Question is, will programmatic in TV be the next step in advertising? Number 1, yes, programmatic will rule advertising in the future. And number 2, yes, programmatic will rule advertising in the future. Okay, let's turn around. 1 is yes, the 2nd is no. Okay, can we have that easy? It's brilliant. I've never had this before. This is the first time I've seen this, really.
Nice.
Really experienced. Can you vote now? So 1 is yes, 2 is no. We love that. Isn't that brilliant? So what do you think, Jay? What is the answer? Yes or no?
The answer is number 1, yes.
Okay. Michael?
Number 1, yes.
Please?
It'll be yes, but what's programmatic here?
No.
I would say no.
No. Okay. Well, we have a diverse view on how that works. Let's see what the audience is thinking. It's quite interesting. This song from Staff takes so long. And sometimes you have the answers like this, and sometimes it takes a while. And you're
It
like,
takes a while, right.
so, whatever, we see. I'm quite sure we get the answer soon. Come on, let's give us the answer. Yeah, you actually have a brilliant audience, right? You should give them a hand, actually, that they are coming all over here. So it's good.
Hey.
So here's the answer. Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Great.
Pareto. So there's enough to discuss now.
There
it's
we
yours,
go.
Jay.
All
Cool.
right, thank you very much. I'm Jay Sears with Rubicon Project, and I'm going to give you a little insight to each of our 4 guests today, and then we're going to have a spirited discussion, and we're going to end with a little bit of a lightning round, some different word games. So the first thing I want to tell you about Michael from Performics is he is the largest direct response television buyer in the United States. And one of the things he said to me when we were preparing was, is the juice worth the squeeze? Okay? So is the increase in cost with data-driven advertising, do you get enough value back? Okay. And then Rhys from RTL, they talk a lot about total video. So television, over-the-top, VOD, and how do they look all across, lots of assets all around Europe. And one of the most interesting things about RTL is they're active investors in the technology side of the business with Clipped, with Spot Exchange, with Video Amp. So lots of interesting tacks there. Now, Jamie is with Sky, and I think you could think of Sky AdSmart almost as a full stack in and of itself, up and down the value chain, which is different. It operates different ways around the world. So we're going to talk about what's good about that and if there are any struggles there. And then Michael from Turner, he runs Turner Ignite. So this is where all the forward thinking from Turner comes out of Michael's group. And one of the things he says is the need for automation in digital is obvious, but in television, not so obvious. There are billions and billions of dollars that trade, and they do pretty well, right? So I want to start, and Michael, I'm going to start with you, and we're going to go around, which is if a book has 10 chapters, okay, and this book is about the future of television and the automation and data-driven advertising coming to television.
Right.
What chapter are we in the book?
We're probably in the preface right now.
Okay.
Preface or the beginning of chapter 1.
Okay.
I think the thought that all advertisers, agencies, the media properties have is that applying data, science, technology to buying across all media makes emphatic sense. The marketplace is looking for efficiency and effectiveness. It'll all go in that direction.
Yep.
But right now, there's such an institution in the way TV is bought, through upfronts, through negotiation, through personal selling, that you've got to work against that dynamic, and it will take time to get there.
Okay, the preface. Rhys, what chapter are we on in the 10-chapter book?
I'm already sort of hooked on chapter 1, so I'm totally in the way sort of saying it's still not quite clear whether I'm going to like the book. Yeah?
You're going to like the book.
But I'm
okay.
hooked to see whether it's actually going to develop. So that's where I am, and I think that TV has got a lot of things coming for itself, so it's definitely a nail-biting one.
Okay, Jamie, where are we?
So I don't know what chapter it is, but it's the chapter that has all the action, the accidents, and the car crashes.
All right, Michael Strober.
I would say the same thing. We're probably in the very early pages of the first chapter. You know, the fact is you have digital that was born with programmatic automation, and it made a lot of sense. I think in television, we're kind of trying to force it on more than it was organically created through digital.
All right, so first chapter, yeah. I feel like we're even in the early drafts of the book, deciding who some of the main characters will be, and maybe deciding on some of those car crashes.
Okay.
All right, the next thing I want to talk about,
Okay, thank you.
You know, Michael, maybe we'll start with you, but the value creation.
Yeah.
When we get to automation of television, if we look in digital, we started with the auction market, where a lot of the value creation was done on the buy side. The media owner put the inventory out, and then it was assembled dynamically by the buy side.
Right.
And then in the last number of years, we've had an orders market, a private market, where a lot of that value creation has been clawed back by the media owner.
Right.
Now, when you and I talked about this, we said, well, where is that value going to be created, and which side is going to create it when it comes to television? You talked about the Googleization of TV buying. So tell us your view, and then I'm going to ask.
So I think that so much of what's happened with TV is against the institution of the way it's bought today.
Yes.
But then you have now a digitally infused marketing landscape that's filled with Google, Facebook, tools and technology, all there to automate the buy. You know, I come from an agency rooted in search, the original programmatic medium. And so now you've got the mindset of a media operation set up to use technology to go do it. The issue is on the TV landscape, they're not set up to do that today. That's got to be the way they go forward. And the value creation has to come back that with the application of data and technology, there's better performance. I can charge a premium for that exposure and that audience access. And so all of a sudden now I'm going to take more of my inventory and port it in that direction. Value creation's got to be from response and the value of that response.
Okay, Jamie, I'm going to jump to you right now. In terms of who's controlling the value creation, talk about Sky Ad Smart. You have kind of soup to nuts. You go all the way down to the box in the household level. When you talk to the advertising community, how much value and creation of value do you want to control as Sky versus the agency you're talking to?
So I think we look at it slightly differently to most of the other market, the rest of the market, in that we start the journey from what are we trying to deliver for the advertiser, not for the technology company, and slightly less for us. And so if we're aiming for an effective advertising outcome, and that is the goal, then that's how we build our product stacks. But ultimately, for us, we have an ongoing and dynamic relationship with our subscriber, our customer, and we bring a lot of value to that decision, that ad serve, that moment, and we're not going to give it up to the mediation layer, but we are going to partner with businesses to enable us to deliver this seamless connection and effective advertising outcomes.
Yeah, good. Okay. Slightly different but related topic, kind of measurement versus currency. Measurement versus, so a currency like Nielsen, but how we're measuring it, how we're talking about audience. And Michael Strober, I want to talk with you because we talked about how some of these things need to come together. You have something at Turner called Competitive Audience Estimation, or CAE. And can you talk to folks about what you're trying to do there? And is this the future? Is it the future for part of Turner?
Yeah, I think the thing works. The thing with television is it's a futures market. So unlike in digital, where you're working with one-to-one, in television you need to estimate the future audiences. And what competitive audience estimation is an algorithmic model that allows us to use any data set, targeting any data, any audience segment a client cares to go after, and can actually predict where that audience is across the entire TV landscape. You need a model like that in order to eventually or for advertisers the opportunity to go beyond Nielsen age, gender, and a guarantee on audiences. So to me, that's sort of the groundwork that has to happen, and the analytics that layer on top of that before you can really build robust programmatic solutions.
And what's interesting about CAE is you're looking not just across Turner properties, but in the US market, at least across all properties, and doing these audience,
Yes.
predictive audience estimations.
We
So
have to.
the question is, why isn't there someone else, the measurement companies and others, delivering this? And why have you as Turner had to say, hey, we can lead by doing this ourselves?
Well, first of all, it's a good question why others haven't. We challenged the marketplace to help us find solutions like this, and was met with some of the brightest minds in our industry. It took us over 3 years to actually formulate this and harden it to the point where now we're materially using it for our own business. But in order to answer your earlier question, which is why are we doing it for Turner, for the entire ecosystem, not Turner? CAE basically is a consumer choice model turned upside down. Every day a viewer has an opportunity to tune into any network, watch any program at every half hour to an hour of a day. So in order for us to make this effective, we can't just only measure and monitor our own air. We have to really think about all the competing choices that a consumer has and then model the estimates based on that.
So I do think one thing to your point about value creation is,
Yes.
in some of the marketing landscape, it's driven from agencies, it's driven from the media properties, it's driven from the technology companies, and obviously the advertisers. In a marketplace where everything's going more metric and audience-based and performance-based, I think ultimately the value creation will come when the advertiser marketplace looks over and says, I want to buy in this manner going forward, now at scale. I'm not going to accept the way it was before, and someone will be saying, I want to get to a point and put a lofty goal like 100% programmatic TV buying model. That's what will happen eventually in the marketplace, and that will tip the scales over in terms of value creation.
Okay, and it was just a couple years ago we heard from IPG saying 50% automation. Dentsu Aegis is now saying 100% automation by 2020.
Right.
So we're hearing that. Let's change topics again. And Rhys, I want to start with you, which is innovation in television automation. Where does it start? At the transaction stage, at the planning stage? Because when you and I talked, you said traffic and billing is a bottleneck, and that really the planning piece you are thinking a lot about as an entry point for innovation.
I think that the television business itself, obviously we want to provide great service to the clients and customers, so obviously efficiency and automating the whole process of booking, etc. That's already pretty much today happening and it's there.
Yeah.
But then again, what's programmatic in this kind of spectrum? Is it really only the audience buying being automated, or is it a data-driven, or is it an addressable kind of solution that is kind of prepared by the distribution itself? So, and also, when I came across programmatic my first time, or automated TV buying, Google TV ads, in the US, you were able to book your first campaign. And I'm saying, this is crazy, yeah? But then again, that was not what the market needed, so it was kind of a different way. So you need to look at it, what does the advertiser need in terms of making a campaign successful?
Yeah.
And that's what we need to provide as a market-leading TV network and on all platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Michael, let me ask you again about how does the innovation get funded? In other words, from the advertiser side, what type of premium do you think they're willing to pay for the data-driven performance? And if we look at digital, we have a lot of compression in fees, right? There was a company a couple years ago called Rocket Fuel.
Yeah.
And they filed to go public, and people said, wow, they're taking 42 cents on every dollar. There's a company that filed a week or two ago, The Trade Desk, 21 cents on every dollar. If you talk to digital demand-side platforms about the big contracts they have with holding companies such as yours, maybe 5 or 8 cents on the dollar. And there are other people in that supply chain as well. So let's fast forward to television. Okay? I'm thinking if you tell some of your clients, you have a new way to do it, but there's a
TV
5
Yeah.
or 8% fee, maybe they're not going to be so happy. So how is this innovation going to get funded?
So I think two things. I think one is we say to all of our clients and advertisers, they should always be taking 10 to 20% of their budget and investing it towards the future and what the future is going to be. I think this is absolutely in the sweet spot of that, since we're all in the preface or just chapter 1. Then secondly, it's going to tie to the back-end metrics of what that performance is that we're trying to drive. So hypothetically, you could say a 10 to 20% premium to have that audience application and intelligence for a more effective TV campaign.
Okay.
It's going to have to come to the back end to prove that out. One last comment I'd make is you would think over time, with the application of technology, actually the cost will come down as it scales.
As it scales. Okay, so Jamie, you get 10 to 20%. Is that going to fund all the technology investment you've made at Sky?
So I think we're looking at it the wrong way. And I think if you go back to the advertiser and you say, what are you trying to achieve? An example I would give is earlier on this year on our addressable TV platform, we had McLaren cars. McLaren cars advertising the P1. It's about a £175,000 car, I'm told. I have no idea. They weren't bothered about whether it was a 10 or 20% premium. They just wanted to reach their audience, and they paid a premium that was 5x. 5 times the linear average price. So it's not about a standardization of premium, it's about finding the right market price to get them what they need to achieve. And that's it.
Okay, all right, very good. Michael Strober, I want to talk to you about, we talked about the hierarchy of needs at Turner. And data was up top, yield optimization, and then workflow at the bottom. And you talked about how you're going to use CAE and data and its impact on something called asymmetrical negotiation, a common tactic at our friends at WPP. And I think this is a lot about who controls value. So give the audience a 60 to 120 second lesson on.
This will be a little provocative, but in television, in national linear television, we cannot allow others to decision the inventory that we sell with the use of data. I mean, they've been using data when we were doing Nielsen age gender guarantees. They use other forms of data to identify certain day part mixes or inventory that they want, much to our own unawareness. But we were happy to sell them the inventory when it was done on Nielsen guarantees. Now that we're leveraging data and understanding our audiences much better, we can't allow necessarily all the agencies and the buyers to know who they want and not share that information with the media companies. We control the inventory. We need to be able to help decision. Because again, it's not just on audiences. We have to decision our inventory for direct response, for promotional inventory, for make goods. So it's not just a one size fits all. There's a myriad of reasons how we use our inventory, and we need to be able to have control to decision that. So I think that's a big difference from the way it might have been done in the past.
We were talking outside before we came in and saying that, even within the TV property landscape, there's going to be tentpole events. There's going to be things that are going to have upfront demand. That's always going to be the case, and those will be the specialty units. How far can programmatic go against the day in, day out buying and audience delivery?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I would answer the question no, because will programmatic rule television? There's too much. Television is too dynamic. You have really 3 forms of buying. You have media-led deals, which are large base reach media buys. You have content-led deals, which are the big tentpole events like the Super Bowl, any big live award shows. They're going to be sold differently. And then you have now audience-led deals. That's the third area that's coming on.
So I think the interesting thing is that there are very different markets across the globe. So the European market is very, very different to the US.
Yes.
So we trade differently. And one of the big differences in Europe, both for RTL and for Sky, is that we are a content owner, a platform, and a sales house. And the way that we think about enabling programmatic and trading is that we need to build the infrastructure to enable an advertiser or an agency to transact with us however they want to.
Yeah.
Now, my absolute belief is that a large proportion of advertisers will continue to use TV as they do today, automated but direct buys. But we'll also have programmatic, addressable, and sequential. And at Sky, we're building that stack end to end to service the whole campaign lifecycle, the execution, but also the evaluation, just as Michael describes.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like in the Sky universe, you really do have to have a view over the assembly of that value.
Yeah,
Yes?
absolutely.
Okay.
Not least for regulation. You know,
Yeah.
we could lose our license, our broadcast license, if we have the wrong categorized ad appearing in the wrong program, which
Yeah.
happens day to day in our own digital environments.
Okay.
But I think the one point, and you know that I admire your smart platform because it's just awesome. Yeah? The thing is only that we are talking about a dilemma that we have, whether it's in the US or in Europe, that we are still kind of muddling around on island solutions. So every broadcaster may have their own solution, whatever. For one, a company like Clipped is trying to aggregate some of the channels inventory across different broadcasters. That's one idea to do it, but I think we still need to do quite a lot of steps to actually standardize the metrics behind and the actual definitions to actually make it work across the market, because the coverage, even though Sky is huge in UK, is also only one part of the market. And then we actually not only have the distribution platforms in each market, but we also have the other forms of delivery over the top on mobile, etc. And I think we will still kind of, trying to sort it out on how targeted advertising would be working on a household level. I think we will even jump that situation to actually now look at how can we do it across platforms. And that's still a huge challenge in that we are, and obviously we're trying to work it out.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we have to decision not just linear inventory, but take the entire spectrum of inventory.
Across the spectrum.
And absolutely, and figure that out. But again, baby steps. In order to do this, and I also agree, we do have to create standards and a platform for the industry. But I think right now in these early days, it's important that we really just bang and test this and explore it, because it's a lot of money at stake and you don't want to take any misfires.
Don't you think that overall, from an advertiser perspective, the thought is that I'm going to, almost going back to a campaign mentality, I've created a video asset. That video asset, I should be able to use that, import that across channels, platforms, and screens to reach my audience in a programmatic way and optimize it where I get the best results. And that means that TV doesn't operate in programmatic isolation. It's at the table with the rest of your mix.
I think an advertiser does want that, but they also want their ad to be viewed, visible, and with full sound.
Right.
All right.
Good point.
We only have we're going to get short on time, so I want to move to some of our word games and lightning rounds. I'm going to now ask these guys some yes or no questions. So just a yes or no. All right.
Okay.
And Michael, I'm going to start here. So yes or no. Television automation will take 5 years. 5 years or less. Yes or no?
5 years or less? No.
No. Television automation will take 5 years.
In the full Monty, no.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
All right. The answer is no. Television automation.
I'll go faster now, I promise.
Television automation will take 10 years.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
All right. The answer is yes there. Google will remain a dominant company for the next 10 years. Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Begrudgingly, yes. Google has a current impact today on television spend, and that impact will become greater over time. Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
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 Yes.
What?
Facebook will remain a dominant company over the next 10 years.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I would say lean yes, but I think we'll see what's going to happen.
But not in
10
television.
Yes, sorry, you said yes. I say no.
Yes with a caveat.
With an asterisk.
How about Facebook? Does Facebook have a current impact on television spend today that will increase? Yes or no?
Yes, because of video.
Yes.
No.
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 Okay. No. How about the advertising automation business broadly is impacting European and US television markets over the next 2 years? Some material impact, yes or no?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No. Okay. All right. So now we're going to play a finish the sentence game. So I'm going to start the sentence, and I'm going to ask each of these guys to finish. Now, you may followed some of the news in the U.S. The ANA Group, which is the group of chief marketing officers, has a big study on transparency. It's causing all sorts of consternation. So the sentence to finish is, Michael Kahn, the impact of the ANA transparency study on the ad holding companies will be
that transparency becomes a selling and operating benefit to the agency model.
all right, part of the negotiation, it sounds like.
I would rather not comment, actually.
Rather not comment. All right. Jamie.
Repeat the question.
Oh, the impact of basically heightened transparency discussions and the impact on the holding companies will be
That finally more advertisers will ask the right questions of agencies, technology businesses, and publishers.
so really understanding the value chain.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah, I'd echo what Jamie said. I also think it's been a boon for the television and for the old line traditional media companies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it
Yeah,
seems
good
like
point.
a real opportunity for reinvention, innovation,
Absolutely.
and talking about where the value really comes from.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes or no question, and maybe Michael Strober, I'll start with you. Forecasting audience, the ability to forecast against audience is going to be the arms race of the future. Yes or no?
No.
It's a hygiene factor. It has to happen.
So that sounds like a yes.
Yep.
I think that's one of
Rhys?
the toughest nuts to crack, the forecasting
Yes.
of audiences.
So that's a yes, it
Yes.
sounds like.
Totally. Predictive modeling, forecasting, absolutely critical to the future of marketing.
All right. The answer is yes. Okay. Programmatic as a term has a negative connotation with many executives in television, broadly. Yes or no?
Yes.
Completely.
Absolutely.
I have to defer the experts. Yes.
All right. Yes. Vehement agreement there. All right. Now I'm going to mention just a word, and I'm going to ask each of you to respond with a word that comes to the top of your mind. Okay? So the first word, Michael Kahn, is Comcast. Give me one word.
Behemoth.
Behemoth. Comcast.
Huge.
Jamie?
Proactive.
Proactive.
Leaning in.
Okay, I would say tentacles. All right, the next word is Snapchat. Michael.
My daughters.
All right, Snapchat.
Vertical video.
All right.
Young.
Next new thing.
All right. I would say challenger. Point solutions. When you think of the words point solutions.
Necessary part of advancement and
All
optimization.
right, one word. Come on.
Essential.
Essential. Okay, essential.
Experimental.
Experimental.
Overpromise, underdeliver.
Okay, all right.
Critical.
Critical. All right. Consolidation is what I would say. Telecom companies, broadly.
Oh, challenged.
Telecommunication companies.
Yeah, challenged is good.
Challenged.
We are one. Great.
Opportunity.
All right, and I would say pipes. Television buyer. Why don't I start with Michael Strober? Television buyer.
It's two words. Ever evolving.
I was going to say evolving.
Love them.
Okay.
Programmatic.
Well, programmatic. All right, I would say consolidation. TV, television, traffic and billing systems.
Archaic.
UK, brilliant.
Very good.
It's a lot to do.
A lot to do.
An opportunity.
Okay, my word would be fossil. Fossil. Media ocean. Media ocean are other agency enterprise workflow systems. So media ocean.
To be proven.
To be proven.
To be proven.
Okay.
Construction site.
Construction, all right. Jamie.
Helpful.
Helpful.
I'd say opportunity.
All right. And I have 2 words, toll collector. Toll collector. Walled garden. Michael Strober.
Well, it's not good.
Not good.
Understandable.
Walled garden.
Understandable.
Okay.
More challenges.
Okay.
Reality.
All right, I was going to say Berlin 1989. Let's tear them down. Facebook.
Trying.
Trying.
Frenemy.
Frenemy.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Tonnage.
All right, walled garden. All right, in the last one, Google, 1 word.
Innovative.
Big.
Opportunity.
Google.
Revenue driver.
All right, I would say diabolical. All right, so when the book on TV automation is written, I'll expect each of you to be characters in the book. So everybody say thanks to our great panel. Thank you very much.